Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about all the basics of the ALESIS SR18 drum machine, how to get set up, and what all the buttons mean. Let's get started. Okay, let's first start by checking out the back panel and all the connections. As you can see here, we've got a volume knob, which is going to control all the outputs. And we've got various outputs. We've got an auxiliary left-right, we've got a main right and a main left, and we've got a phono or headphone out. Next, we've got an instrument input, so we can put a guitar, bass, keyboards, or whatever in there and play along with our drum patterns. Next up, we've got MIDI out, through, and in. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface and is an older protocol, but still is so common it's on a lot of machines and very useful. Next, we've got our foot switches. So we can add a foot switch pedal to start and stop our patterns or songs, or we can put in another pedal and we can use it to count in songs or patterns, or switch between A, B, and fill on the patterns. So if we want to do a little drum fill between the verse and the chorus, that's the foot switch that we're going to use. And then lastly, we've got the power input and the on-off switch. Let's fire. So we've got our machine plugged in. I've taken the main left output, and this is just a standard 1/4-inch instrument cable. I can put that into an amplifier, into a PA, or a digital audio workstation. Let's get started by having a look at the front panel. On the top left side here, you can see we've got numbered pads. These are for entering in values while we're editing or skipping between patterns. For example, if we want to switch from our first pattern here, 00A, let's say to 11A, we could just simply press 11. That will take us to our next pattern. Likewise, if we want to skip to pattern 12, we could simply enter in 1, 2, and that will take us to 12A. Okay. There's another couple of ways that we can scroll through patterns on the SR18. We can use the increase, decrease buttons to scroll through. If you keep your eye on the pattern here, let's go back to 00A, we can skip through our different patterns. The ALESIS SR18 has 200 preset patterns and 200 user patterns. The preset patterns can't be modified, but the user patterns we can customize however we want. Another way to scroll through patterns is to use the value tempo wheel and simply turn it clockwise or counterclockwise. As you can see, we're going to go all the way up to 99 and back to 00. So that's 100 patterns. Then when we change to the next bank, which is B, we've got a whole another set of 100 patterns, all the way up to 99, back down to 00. Now we're in preset mode at the moment. Let's go back to 00A. A very important button is the preset user. This is going to change between our preset sounds and our custom-made beats that we want to put together. So let's go ahead and press that button. Okay, it's going to take us to 00A, and likewise we have 99 patterns, and as you can see, the patterns at the end here are empty patterns. We're going to come back to this in a future video, and I'm going to show you how to program your own beats. Okay, I've already got a couple of things in there. There's already some here. We can erase these, rewrite over them. And the same with B. So if we go down to our B bank, we've got another 100 patterns, and the ones here at the end are empty. So that's important to understand. The preset user patterns. So presets can't be changed. Users we can customize to our liking. Let's have a look at some of these other buttons. We've already covered the mute button in a different video. That's going to mute your bass, your percussion, or your drums. You've got fill button, which is going to add a fill and switch from one pattern to the next. So let's have a look at that. If we're playing 00A, we press the fill button, it's inserted a fill and has now taken us to 00B. Likewise, if we hit that again, it's going to take us back to A. Another way we can switch between A and B is obviously to use A and B. And as you can see it here in our preset pattern, we're switching between A and B. Okay, and that doesn't matter where we are on the machine. Let's take it up to 14A. We can switch to 14B, and it'll be a slight variation of that pattern. There's our A. Here's our fill. As you can see, we're in 14B. Let's have a look at the different ways that we can change the tempo or the speed on the SR18. Now our tempo or speed is measured in BPM, that's beats per minute. And here you can see we're on 93 BPM. Now if we use the tap tempo button and we press that at whatever speed we want, you can see it's changing the tempo. So that's one way we can change the speed. Another way we can change speed is by holding down the tap tempo button and using the value tempo dial to dial in whatever speed we want. Another way of changing the speed is to use the increase and decrease to change the tempo whilst holding the tap tempo button once again. So here you can see it's changing the tempo. If we hold it down, it's going to scroll through fast. Let's have a look at our trigger pads. Down the bottom here, you'll notice that there's 12 pads. They've all got numbers on them, 1 to 12. And they've also got drums written on them. So here you've got the kick drum, the snare drum, snare 2, hi-hats, you've got bell, you've got a ride cymbal, you've got a crash cymbal, and you've got your 3 tom-toms. Also, if you can see here in blue, you've got musical notes. You've got E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C, C sharp, D, and D sharp. So it's 12 notes of the chromatic scale. And if you see that they're written in blue, you'll see that corresponds with the bass track. Now, this is going to come in handy in future videos when I'm talking about how to write bass tracks. Thanks for watching, everybody. There's a lot we didn't get around to covering today. The ALESIS SR18 is a deep machine, and it can do a lot of things. But let's cover that next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time around.